Okay, we're live. Ready? What's up, y'all? Good morning. Welcome to Morning Scone. Sunday edition, a little bit later than usual. Had best dress ball last night. Awesome event, benefit American Cancer Society. Their goal was to raise $1 million last night at the event, and I don't know if they hit it, but they sure got close. Dude, my hair's a mess. Sorry about this. Hang on. Cow. Now y'all know why I normally wear a hat when I do this thing. Cow. Car. Drew's here, as y'all can hear. Grab me a hat. Now y'all know. All right, a lot we're going to get to this morning, guys, as always, and gals. We're presented by Boudreaux's. It's one of the mornings where if your boy did Bloody Marys, he'd probably do one. but I am committed. I am committed to this cause of morning scone, even after going to a ball where it was just nothing but 6 hours of Don Julio Blanco. But that was a good night. Good night. All right. Will, good morning. Lee Caffrey, good morning. Cole Talbot, good morning. Adam Tower, Bruce Parker, Cassidy Russo, Ryan Broussard, Justin Hutchinson, Dale Crochet, Trey Dykes, what's up, dog? Chad Chenevert, good morning. Bob Kubrick, Adam Tower. Yes, we will talk about Matt Canada. Funny how life works out sometimes. So Matt Canada is now the interim head coach at Maryland. I do have thoughts on that. Robin Debitaz, good morning. Keith Rosenbach, Jonathan Miller, Josh Long. Look at y'all. Good morning. Janet Anderson, good morning. Craig, Jennifer, Blaine, Carrie, Alvino, Lee. Good. Hey, Lee, he asked. I'm going to let this build a little bit, y'all. He asked, is the tag still on that hat? It is, dog. If y'all ever heard me talk about my guys that signed, Ball. A buddy of mine launched that app. It's a digital autograph app. Anyway, and so I talk like a lot of times I wear like a signed shirt here, or like this hat. You can see it's here. Is it here? Yeah, it's here. The sign logo. Cow. Car. Anyway, so he sent me a bunch of swag for talking about him and stuff. So just hats to give away to people. I mean, I got a bag of 10 hats, but I'm not gonna wear them all. So I think I have like a white one and a black one I don't wear. But anyway, I'll leave that one over with the tag on. I'll give it away. Maybe we'll start giving this stuff away on Morning Scone, and I'll mail it to y'all. Let's see. Robert Scott, good morning. Sam Moody, work through the pain. Sam, it's really not pain. It's one of the things that I do like about when I drink tequila, like without any mixer. It's just distilled so clean that I don't wake up with a hangover or anything like that. So just a late night, went to bed, at 2. And then Drew gets up early. So, but anyway, all right. Let's see. My dad's watching. Meridoc, good morning. Corey Gotro, Mark Simino, good morning. Let's talk about the best receivers in the SEC. Shout out, Craig. Don't start with me this early, dog. Jamie says, I'm on my second cup of coffee waiting for you and Drew. Bernard, good morning. Man, it's great. Good to see y'all. Got a good crowd already. Funny how some people can fall ass backwards into a head coaching job. But we're going to talk about it for sure. I want to talk about that whole thing with Maryland. So, man, so many of y'all watching. Thanks for watching. Petey, Leah, Chuck, Matthew, Robert, Darren. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. Okay, all right, let's start with the scrimmage, with the LSU scrimmage, and then we'll go into the Matt Canada stuff. So, LSU had their first scrimmage of fall camp Saturday. It started in Tiger Stadium. Rained, shocker. And so then moved it into the indoor facility, ran about 100 plays. I told you yesterday, the first thing that I wanted to see was, okay, how do they divvy up quarterback reps? And normally if you had like a first two, you'd have like 20 attempts and 18 attempts, and then your third guy would have like 8 to 10, and then your fourth guy would have like 2 or 3. Like typically that's how it would go. But Ed said he's rotating them all, and he wasn't lying, dog. So here's your quarterback here's your quarterback reps from yesterday, how they divvied it up. Lowell was 6 of 14. 6 of 14. 422. Joe Burrow was 7 of 13 for 118. Brennan was 5 of 10 for 94 yards. And McMillan was 8 of 13 for 83 yards. Ogeron said defense clearly won the day. As for rushing, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, dude, this is, and Ogeron said it after, like, this is the really disappointing thing because the defensive front seven dominated the day. Clyde, 9 carries for 17 yards. Nick Brossette, 10 for 36. Chris Curry, 16 attempts for 43 yards. Y'all, it's one scrimmage. I'm not going to overreact to one scrimmage, but doesn't it kind of validate the questions that we had and the things we've been talking about? It's one scrimmage, I'll grant you, but it's why you need Ed Ingram back. And so you can kick Damian Lewis over to left guard, and you can play Garrett Brumfield at center and not shuffle 3 spots. And all that matters, y'all. I mean, it's the people like to say next man up, but there's a reason your starters are starters. As for is Curry the guy, something I'll let you keep in mind specifically with the running backs, it's because they did situational stuff, it's quite possible that Ed just didn't want to he knows that Clyde and Brossette are going to be maybe his guys out the chute, and like there's no reason to give those guys 15, 20 carries in a scrimmage, especially the first scrimmage. So it's possible he got them some work early and said, hey, go sit down, right? And then he let Curry play like the whole second half or out the duration of the scrimmage. So, but Tate Rubens and Leonard Fournette, they don't show as having a carry in this game. So, but, I mean, if you just total up the passing attempts, 50 passing attempts compared to 35 rushing attempts. So, that ain't 50-50, y'all. And I'll grant you a lot of it's situational. Some of it can be like third down. So if it's 3rd and 9, you're not running the ball on 3rd and 9. If it's 4th and goal at the 1, if they're doing situational stuff, you will run the ball. So defensive front dominated, and that's a good thing. The bad thing is, see, this is the tough part about any scrimmage, right? It's like, do you accentuate the positive, or like if the offense. So the offense played poorly, is that just because the defense is really good, or does the offense have that long way to go? It's probably a little bit of both, but specifically with passing the ball, remember Greedy didn't play, so your starting corners were Terrence Alexander and Kerry Vincent. You didn't have Greedy out there, so I'm interested. Probably the most interesting thing that Ogeron said was that Jamar Chase was one of the first. The starting receivers were Giles, Jefferson, and Jamar Chase. So, Stephon Sullivan. The other thing he said is Stephon Sullivan's the one that moved to tight end. And one of you, I'm sure whoever it was, if you're watching, will say it. One of you yesterday asked that. Bye-bye. One of you asked yesterday if Lily. Sweetheart. One of y'all asked yesterday if Sullivan would be the one to move to tight end, because Ogeron had mentioned a big receiver moving to tight end, and I said I don't think so, because Sullivan was actually among the receivers, your leading returning receiver from last year. He and Derek Dillon, and I said, why would you move him to tight end? You'd move like D. Anderson or somebody that's big that's struggling to get on the field. But now think about it, it makes sense to move Stephon Sullivan if you feel like, of those big guys, he's your most competent receiving threat. That's a way to get him on the field with Giles and Jefferson and Chase and whoever else may be. So it does make sense. What's odd is he said, to help him at tight end or supplement. It's like, yeah, you lost Jamal Pettigrew, but realistically, you got Foster, you got Thad Moss, you got Ja'Cory Washington. I mean, you got guys at tight end, and I don't think they're going to run too many tight end sets. So unless if there's like a specialty package where they feel like they can get him out there, I don't know. If y'all have other questions, let me know. I'll go through some of the other things that jumped out at me. Defensively, Chasson had 7 tackles, 1 for loss, 2 sacks, and 2 hurries. I mean, Chasson, he just... Hey, baby. Say good morning. French fry. Farford Nougat. Furry 4. Lily. Okay. Get on out of here. Go watch Mickey Mouse. Okay, we'll see you later. He'll be back. Let's see. There we go. So defensively, the other thing that stood out is like none of the praise or the stats that they shared was for the defensive line. So Rashard Lawrence, Braden Fehoko, Glenn Logan, it was all Chasson 7 tackles, Devin White 6, Ray Thornton 6, John Battle 5, Damone Clark 5.5, Divinity 4. The other thing that jumped out. Hey bud, hang on 1 second. It's about hang on Divinity. I'm gonna tell you in a second. Hi, baby. So Divinity, remember, Divinity is starting at the F linebacker. He's gonna fight this curtain. Abba. You want to say hi to everybody? Oh, no. Divinity had 2 sacks yesterday. So no, wait. He's stealthy, man. He just comes and grabs that thing. So Divinity had 2 sacks in the scrimmage. And remember, he's playing the position that Corey Thompson played last year. And Corey, as a senior, became really, really good. Last year was a 6-year senior. Became really good at rushing the passer, remember? So maybe Divinity is going to fill that role with such good numbers. Well, Lily. Farford Nougat. French fry. Fargo Fairmont. Furry 4. Furry 4. Lily. Okay. He's struggling with his L's. He's going like... Lily is my sister. If you saw the video of him getting a haircut, that's Alicia, Lily. He loves Lily. But he says, Lily. Anyway. Okay. All right, let me get some of y'all's questions. I do want to talk about Matt Canada, too. I got to scroll way back here because I kind of just started talking, y'all. So my apologies for like just getting to some of y'all's stuff. See Drew's new haircut. We all just saw that. Okay, so again, those are my observations. Jesse McGraw, Chris Curry will be the man. I don't believe so. Again, 1 scrimmage. My guess is most of those carries were late in the scrimmage, but I'll have some conversations today and tomorrow in AFR about. Hey, wait. What, Bubba? Hey, what? Hey, listen. Do you want Daddy to finish his TV show, and then we'll go for a ride in Dad's car? Car. Cow. Car. Cow car? We'll go for a ride in Dad's cow car. Right, he's fired up now. Good. All right, we got some time to answer some questions. Tequila water with lime, like your style, bro. Yeah, no water, Jordy. Just if you get a good tequila, you get the right one. Just give me some Don Julio Blanco, get a twist of lime and drop it in there. I'm good. That's a great by the pool drink whenever it's really hot outside. If you want to drink beer and just get, because if I drink beer all day, I just get really bloated. Now, I mean, I love my bourbons and my whiskeys, but I wasn't gonna sit there and just drink whiskey all night. If they had something I really wanted, I would have. Is Curry breaking his way to be one of the top 2 backs? Maybe. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. But one of the things that Ogeron said yesterday, like he went out of his way to praise Nick Brossette for running with a lot of intensity. Cow. Car. Cow car. Cow car. Lily. Cow car Lily. All right. Keep moving through some of these. I will talk about Canada in a second here. I want to get to some of those comments. There's a bunch of them. Chad Brown, good morning. John Wagley, good morning. Thomas Trahan, good morning. All right, Ryan Broussard. Besides Bama, Georgia, will the offense see a front? Okay. Okay, that's a great question, Ryan. Thank you. All right, yes. So, I'm glad you brought that up because this is the point I wanted to make. So you could say, all right, LSU's offense struggled against the defensive front seven, but that front seven is really good, right? And they are. Like, I think LSU's front seven is going to be really good. But Bama's and Georgia's are as good or better. And I would say the seat. Cow. Car. Elevator. Mississippi State. Mississippi State has 2 top 50 draft picks on the defensive line with Jeffrey Simmons and Montez Sweat. Simmons is going to be a first-round pick, and Sweat's got a chance. And then Florida as well. Remember, C.C. Jefferson's back. Like, they got everybody back on their defense. Florida does. So, and you have to go there again. So that's at least 4 games that you're going to play with a defensive front seven as good or better than yours. So they got to figure out how to run the football and how to protect their quarterback. So yeah, I mean it's a good question, but it matters. Trey Dykes, tight end stats, please. They didn't provide it. I gave you the receiver stats. The receiver stats that they gave were for Chase, Dillon, Jefferson, Giles, Brissett, Marshall, and Davis. So no tight ends caught any passes, at least not in the stats that they revealed. That's why I got asked yesterday by somebody, I don't know what it was. It was on the CST LSU training camp show that I do. By the way, y'all go set your DVR for that. But oh man, I gotta scroll back. Oh gosh. Yeah, the CST training camp show I did. Someone was asked, said that Foster Moore may get more catches this year than he has his whole career combined. I just don't see it. Like, I don't think LSU is going to run many. I don't think LSU is going to run many plays for the tight end. I mean, if their strength is at receiver, or where they have numbers as at receiver, I mean, maybe they do. Who knows? It's one of the great intrigues, man. Don't know what this offense is going to look like, but no, according to the stats I gave, Trey, no tight ends caught a pass. If the defense can play and limit opposing teams' running games week in and week out, we could be huge. That could be huge for our year. I know it's a scrimmage, but definitely heard some promising things about the defensive line, backers, edge rushers. Yeah. Sure. But you also have an offense that's struggling to come along. So that's the tough part about a scrimmage, though, right? It's like, do you accentuate the good because that was your team, or do you accentuate the bad because was your defense that good or was your offense that bad? Either way, it's like, I don't know. Downstage training camp, you should be doing your live show. Euland that champ Price. Man, get down there for a live show in the morning. I don't know, dog. All right, let's see. Paul Hollowell, good morning. Give y'all's questions. Fulton was playing with the ones out of necessity. Steve Blanchard. Because y'all saying he played against the ones so the receivers could see quality reps. Good. Well, that's also out of necessity with Greedy out, too. All right, so Sullivan's body size, 6'7", 230, could create a mismatch. If they use him, I mean, yeah, for sure. So I like it, talking about moving Sullivan to tight end. Too early for French fries. But we hit up Waffle House at like 1 o'clock in the morning last night. And I hadn't done that in a long time, but it was as good as I remember. But it was like the quickest Waffle House trip ever. We were in and out in like 13 minutes. We sat down, came right to us, ordered, food was there in like 4 or 5 minutes. We ate in like 4 or 5 minutes. I gave her cash and just walked. It was the quickest Waffle House trip ever. Oh, man. Nick Torina, good morning. Rusty Gomez, Charles Alexander. Charles Alexander? What's up, Charles? See, that's the guy I got to be asking, man. That's Alexander the Great who's watching right now, man. I hope he's still watching. He probably heard me talking and was like, I might get out of here. Charles, let me know what you think about scrimmage stats. Old number 4, man. College Football Hall of Famers watching us right now. That's my guy. Nathan Ball, good morning. Tim Brown, good morning. James McCormick, how do you think Brumfield's going to do this season? I think it's an interesting question, man. I think Brumfield was solid at left guard last year, but I really would like to see him play center because I think that's how you get your best 5 on the field. Excuse me, sorry y'all. If Ed Ingram's playing right guard and Brumfield's playing center, and you get Lewis in at left guard, I think that's how you get your best 5 on the field. But if Ingram's not there and Lewis has to kick over and Brumfield plays left guard and Cushenberry plays center, now you've had musical chairs on your interior, and I think you're weaker at all 3 of those spots. Fourth, that's funny. Any chance Tom Herman tipped Burrow? Tipped Burrow about what? Let's see. Why? Sam says, why can't I wrap my head around the fact that Drake Davis can't get on the field? Obviously, it's not happening. I can't get it. Sam, this is easy. And I've said this a bunch, and I don't think people either listen or want to hear it or whatever. Like, the problem with Drake Davis and D. Anderson, those big freak show wide receivers, is they can't technically play the position. They're physically superior athletically, but it's different in high school when you've got a 5'7", 165-pound cornerback, and then when you're in the SEC and you have someone jamming you at the line, and you have to be able to get off a jam, and you have to be able to run a crisp route, and you have to know the route tree, and you have to remember your route and know what you're doing, and when the ball comes, you have to make plays, and when you're inconsistent in one or all of those things, you're not going to get on the field. So it's hey bud. It's literally why Russell Gage played last year. I mean, the smallest, least athletic receiver they had was their second leading receiver. Like, it's why. It's because they could put him on the field. He would run the right route. He could get open and would catch the ball. I mean, he's certainly not as dynamic as any of those guys we mentioned, but it's why Gage played, and it's why Drake Davis isn't playing. And it sucks because Drake is a freak show, and I wish he could get it together. Joel says, I'm surprised Chase has already started in that deep wide receiver room. Only took 2 weeks of practice. Does it say more about him or the wide receivers overrated? Joel, by now you should know how I feel about that. Like, one of the things about Chase is, hey, baby. Abba. It's exactly what I just said. Chase came from a program at Rummel, a high school program at Rummel, where they taught receivers how to play the position. Trust me, I've called enough high school games where I see offenses where they just put the best athlete at quarterback and the other best athlete at receiver, and it's just roll around and throw jump balls and just let your big guys go get it. Do you remember Tyron Johnson, who's at Warren Easton, and their quarterback was Deshaun Capers-Smith. I think that was his name. I called several of their games for Cox, for radio, whatever, and it's like I'd watch how they did it, and it was just jump balls. It was just, hey, go routes, jump balls, and like you just can't do that at this level. It's why Tyron Johnson couldn't get on the field. They just expect more. You have to be able to technically play the position, and some guys are hey, bud. Some guys that comes for it. All right, Matt Boudreaux, good morning. Janet says, excited for whiskey and wine. Going to be lit, me and Jordy. So remember, football Saturdays this fall. 5 hours before kickoff of every 5 hours before kickoff of every LSU game, me and T-Bob on Eagle 98.1 and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and our live stream. Then 2 hours before kickoff. Why do you keep saying that? Okay. So we'll do that show for 3 hours. Then me and T-Bob will continue on ESPN and our live stream for the next 2 hours, literally leading right up to kickoff. So like the 7 o'clock game will be on from 2 until 7. I'll go home, watch the game, then Jordy and I will do whiskey and wine from our houses after the game. Hewlin says the interaction between you and your son is priceless. I appreciate that. Wow, I got up to 93 people watching. What are y'all doing on this day, man? Sunday morning, y'all watching this? But I appreciate it very much. Hit the share button and buy some Boudreaux. Matt Canada's offense would have played better against LSU's front seven. UCBO, good morning. Janet, is there another way to watch CST? I don't have it. Unfortunately, no, they don't stream. It's kind of intentionally. You know, they want people still to be cable subscribers. So, but if I can find that CST show, if after it airs, if like they publish it online or something like that, I'll let you know. I'll post a link. Craig asked about Ole Miss's Tony the Shark. I tweeted yesterday, congrats. No, actually, I tweeted to King Cake Baby. I said they're challenging your throne for creepiest mascot. That's terrible. Like there's a part of me that does understand moving away from Colonel Rebel, obviously. I mean, a plantation era Southern gentleman. Like I get why you don't want that to be the face of your university. Totally. But the shark thing is awful. I mean, the mascot for if you haven't seen it, go look. I mean, it's equally as bad as King Cake Baby. It's terrible. Darren, will we see Devin White run the ball on 4th and 1 from the one down by 5? No. I don't think Devin White's ever going to carry the ball, and if they do, that's stupid. He's got way too much to lose. Matt Boyles, good morning. Brad, the offense will improve. Too many reps being spread around right now. Once they narrow down some of the position battles, increase starter reps, they'll be fine. Maybe so, Brad, but that's been my point all along, man. It's like the longer you wait to do that, the more you're missing out on that opportunity to get your starter reps. And it's different if you opened up with Southeastern and then Tech and then Mississippi State or Ole Miss and then Rice, and then you got into October and it was brutal, and you had a month to kind of feel your way, but you know what's waiting for you. I mean, you got 2 games on the road against top 10 teams in your first 3 weeks. Like, you don't have time to bring it along slowly. Hey, buddy, what's the matter? Hang on, y'all, one second. Hey, what's the matter? Do you want peekaboo? Are you on Big Block? Hang on, y'all. He wants Big Block sing song. So I'm going to put it on here, but we'll keep talking. Someone asked general thoughts on the offensive line. I think not having Ed Ingram is a huge deal. Yeah, just my take on it. Like, because it's the domino effect. The same exact thing. So the same thing happened last year, right? If you remember in fall camp, okay, baby, Big Block. You were supposed to have Maya Tehuma, remember? And Maya Tehuma, was, I don't know if anybody, Big Block, baby, it's coming. I don't think anybody's ever really told the Maya Tehuma story, but suffice to say that he was probably going to miss some playing time and decided, bleep this, and just decided he was going to go to Southeastern and play. So, you want Big Block? Okay, Big Block it is. But anyway, you saw the trickle down. Why is that so funny? He loves it. All right, here's Big Block, okay? This is what he always asks for, Big Block sing song. Anyway, all right. All right, good, he's got his show now. All right, going back in the office. Let me frame my shot again. Thank y'all for your patience. Appreciate it. Who are new to this are probably like, what the hell is this guy doing? Those of you who do this all the time, I appreciate you. All right. All right, let's see. Get to more y'all's questions. Any word on Greedy, how long he'll miss camp? I think it's precautionary. I've not heard that he's in any way seriously injured. I think they realize, especially with the Fulton news, how valuable he is. They're just being cautious because he does not need fall camp. So he's fine. Adam, rumors that Tom Herman is the one that leaked the Urban Meyer story. I don't know if you saw it, but Brett McMurphy came back and tweeted. He said, "In 4 decades as a journalist, I've never revealed my sources, but I'll say unequivocally it was not Tom Herman." Hey, bud. Hey, what's the matter? You have big block. You have what you want. Peekaboo. Okay. And here's why I do believe. Here's why I believe Brett McMurphy. Brett just broke a story where he crushed one of the winningest of this generation, one of the greatest head coaches of all time, 3 national championships. He busted him for lying. If Brett McMurphy, too, was lying about this, his credibility and his career. So, hey, what's the matter? What do you want? What do you want? So, I believe when he says it wasn't Tom Herman, because he has a lot to lose. Hey, shh. What's the matter? Hey, come here. Shh, what's the matter? It's okay. Hey, listen to me. Do you want to finish Daddy's TV show and then go for a ride in the car? We'll go for a ride in the car? And see Lily? Dad bye. You watch Dad bye later. Okay, bye. Big block. Okay, big block's on right now. You go watch it. Okay. Where's Jacoby Stevens? Nowhere to be found, dude. He just, like, I get what people ask. 5-star, nowhere to be found. They just got at least 5 better. Safety right now looks like corner did 3-4 years ago. They got so many good options at safety, and he's not one of them. Sullivan opens the door for a lot of creativity, potentially. For the life of me, can't understand if you don't implement some type of running plan with Narcisse. Any stats on him running? No stats on him running, carry. But I agree with you. I would absolutely get him on the field. Like, I could understand redshirting him last year. Redshirting him last year coming off the injury and not wanting to burn a year of his eligibility. But absolutely. Ronnie said, why? I guess that's about the receivers, Ronnie. Great question. Because you need receivers. And they decided they were going to go get big physical wide receivers, and they just couldn't coach them. It's the problem is they hired recruiters to be receivers. Mickey Joseph, God bless him, he tried really hard. Mickey Joseph has like no credentials to be a receivers coach. Before him, Damian Craig was an awful receivers coach. Talked to people around that staff, like he offered zero in way of game plan and competency. He was there to go recruit Mobile and Florida. But you have to have a full-time spot for him on staff. So that's why they have Jerry Sullivan there, to bring in someone who knows how to teach receivers, how to teach the position. Like, that was never my issue with Sullivan. My issue with Sullivan is you hired a 76-year-old man who's probably going to coach for 1 year, who's cruising toward retirement. Like, he's not going to recruit for you. He's only going to be there for a year. Like, go get a young guy who can do just that, but who can give you more than just... Here's how you run a stop and go. Anyway, I don't want to get back into that again. Can we talk about the land shark? Let's see. Is the struggle in offense due to Ensminger or lack of talent? Combination of the two. I think lack of continuity. Like, people, can we understand what LSU lost? Like this, I've tried to say this, and people think I'm just being negative. Like, you lost Darius Geis and Darrell Williams. You do not have a running back on the team that has scored a rushing touchdown in college. You lost 3 starting offensive linemen. You lost your top 2 receivers from a group where those were the only 2 competent guys you felt good about. You lost your 5th-year senior quarterback and that truck. And now you're working in a new offense. Like, that is so much turnover. It's not like all of the pieces are in place. You just have to figure out quarterback. Or all of the pieces are in place, you just need some receivers to emerge, but until they do, you've got this awesome offensive line and Geis and Williams that can pace you until you figure out who's going to be your go-to receivers, right? Like, you've lost all of this. It's why I'm not trying to like sound the horn and be the most negative guy ever, but it's like, how can you not see that there's going to be a transition, like going to be growing pains offensively? It's like, that's going to happen. Anyway. Cole says Giles getting 2 catches, 58 yards. Chase 3 catches, 52 yards. Should big play potential. I totally agree with that. Completely agree with that. Scott Alexander said they're all new. Oh, I guess the CST shows, that'd be great. Elevator. Matt is man, love having all these ways to listen. Thank you, Derek. I appreciate it, man. I love talking about it, man. It's easy to do. Is ESPN gonna be mad you're taking away market share with that? I don't think so, Craig. Ask me when it's 9,300 or 93,000, then maybe. Joseph, who's QB1? I believe it was McMillan yesterday. Hang on, I don't want to get that wrong. He said Ogeron said he wouldn't tip his hand at who is the guy, but they all split evenly. Elevator. Truck. Yeah, he didn't say. So, Ogeron didn't say. So, but it's all good. Let's see. All right, let me real quick talk about Canada before I forget. All right, so, and I'm gonna get back to the rest of your questions, guys. I see. Before I forget, before we get too much longer into this, let me just talk about Matt Canada. There's 2 parts of this. One is about Canada. One is about the report with DJ Durkin. If you haven't seen, DJ Durkin, head coach at Maryland, placed on leave while they investigate claims from an ESPN report yesterday of the culture within the football program. Coaches cursing at players, driving them too hard, toxic culture. It was an ESPN report that cited a former staff member, former player, or players anonymously who basically just dogged on the culture. Now, elevator. It is very important to note that a player died during workouts this offseason from heat stroke. I don't know anything about the culture at Maryland, but I will say this. I have and Will Muschamp spoke about this yesterday because Will, when he was at Florida, had DJ Durkin on his staff. I have a big problem with someone anonymously sourcing a story that attacks other people's character. If you feel that way, put your name on it. If you're going to try to ruin lives, put your name on it. There are times, elevator. There are times where, when you're breaking news, you have to grant certain people anonymity because of the sensitive nature of the news they're breaking. But car. There's a very big difference between breaking a story about stop, baby. There's a very big difference between breaking a story about a future home and home series, which is news, and doing an expose on where you're attacking someone's character, the culture they've built, potentially altering their program. You're affecting the assistant coaches within that program. Families are involved. The current players, recruits, future players, boosters, donors. Like, the trickle down is immense for a story like that with Maryland, and you anonymously sourced that story. I mean, you could very easily go to any program in America, and find former players who weren't playing, who thought they were getting screwed, who will say it's a toxic culture. Big block. Elevator. Now, I'm not falling on... Wait, stop. Jeez. I'm not falling on the sword here for DJ Durkin. I don't know DJ Durkin. I don't know anything about Maryland's program, the culture, any of that stuff. But I do have a big problem with those ESPN reporters granting anonymity to the people who made those claims because of the nature of the claims. Okay, so that's that. Stop. You stop it. That's my microphone. Stop it.
Walk.
Walk.
Ma.
Wall.
Ma.
Maw.
Ma.
Ba. Paul Feinbaum? Truck. Okay. Okay, now as far as Matt Canada, I was going to be fascinated to watch Maryland this year anyway. Maryland has a bunch of quarterbacks. Elevator. Mwah. Oh. Hey, listen. Daddy's almost done with the show, and then we're going to go for a ride in the car to see Lily. Dad bye. Big block. Okay. That's so funny. All right, we'll see you later. It's funny how life works out. And yep, I was going to be interested to watch Maryland's offense this year anyway, to see if Matt Canada could get that thing rolling. He does not have he's got plenty of quarterbacks. Lindsey Scott almost went to Maryland, but they ended up taking another quarterback in his year, and so he came to LSU instead. And it was going to be a possible transfer destination for him too. But anyway, I think if Canada goes there and wins, he'll get a job. You know, he came to LSU hoping that was his path to being a head coach. Matt wanted to be a head coach. He interviewed for Troy and maybe Western Kentucky. Make no mistake, like he wants to be a head coach now. So he looked at LSU as, hey, look, if I can go and turn that offense around, that'll be my inside track to be a head coach. So now he's got that opportunity at Maryland, at least on an interim basis. So, all right, shout out to Sacred Heart Catholic High Jr. Go ahead, James McCormick, shout out. Put Ed back on the team. Tired of this nice guy stuff at LSU. Blake, understand. Talking about Ed Ingram. If it's a university issued suspension, then it's not like Ogeron is suspending him because he missed a team meeting or something. If it's a university issued suspension, then it's just there's nothing you can do about it. Michael from Denham, good morning, Michael. Appreciate you being there. Chris Keller, good morning. Let's see, Tehuma would only get 4-game suspension. Geez, man, not like it would have been a 2-year suspension, right? But I think it was more than 4 games. So remember, at LSU with certain suspensions, your first suspension is 10% of your season. So at LSU for football, they round down. So if you play 12 games, 10% would be 1.2 games. You round down so it's 1 game. The next would be a half season. The next would be a full season. So Tehuma had already had his 1 game. So take that what you will. Hang on 1 second. Be right back. All right, see if we can do a few more y'all's. God, we're going long. All right, see if we can do a few more y'all's questions. Drew's the star of the show. Michael, he's always like, I used to, for those that are new to this, haven't seen it before, I used to worry about that, like Drew coming in or crying at the door or something like that. And I finally said, you know what, screw it, let him come in. And so many of y'all just think that's the funniest thing in the world, is the chaos he creates in my mornings. But it's funny. Explain no Christian Fulton, but Oregon has a child molester pitching for him. Yancey, good morning. Emil, use some of those winnings from Dwayne to buy a new coffee cup. I'm a simple dude, man. We've had these coffee cups, Eric and I, we've had these since we got married, man. So, all right, let's see. Kyle, good morning. Ron Hernandez, good morning. Jason Allen, Daniel Williams, good morning, y'all. Don't forget to talk about Canada. Okay, so did that a little bit. Troy Fuselier, good morning. Guys in Canada have a good relationship. Maybe guys will spend some rehab time in Maryland helping out. Doubt it. Matthew Hyde, this year is going to be very hit and miss. You have to be patient. You're 100% correct. They lost so much on the offensive side of the ball. Hope more people see that. Hey, the Riot's watching. How was Best Dressed? If you had been here at the beginning of this, Mr. The Riot, you would have seen. Best Dressed was a lot of fun, and you should have come. But band was good. Company was great. Many, many thanks to my guy, Brandon Holly. Relief Windows was one of the sponsors of the event. He and his wife, Adrian, invited
Sha.
Me and Erica.
Sha. Sha.
So, truck.
Mimi.
Mimi, Lily. So I had a really good time. The funniest part, so Ryan Clark was one of the best dressed. And I took a video. By the way, if you go to my YouTube page, I videoed Ryan Clark when his whole runway walk. And I posted it at my YouTube page. So youtube.com/MattMoscone, and just go, you'll see it. The funniest thing is actually, so at the end, after all the best dressed get introduced, like, you know, in couples, and they walk the runway, they all come out later and, you know, and dance and wave at the crowd and all that stuff. It was so funny because it's just like some like inebriated middle-aged people and then RC. And so he was like the only guy up there with rhythm who was like working it. And it was this amazing contrast. It was like, hey, y'all, don't nobody go stand by Ryan. He's going to make y'all look bad. He stole the show up there. It was funny. It was really good. Jeremy, good morning. Trey, good morning. And then is reminding me of the Chinese food drive-through scene. And dude, where's my you know, it's or Wayne's World with garlic. Then yeah. But Drew, like, I have to. So when I do that, then I'm like accentuating that to Drew so he understands like spacing and sequencing. So like we're gonna do something, then something else, then, you know. So it helps him with remembering things and also not getting too caught. Like if he hears me say one thing, he thinks it's gonna happen right now. Anyway, if Canada coaches this year, Maryland goes 6-6. Do they keep him? I don't know anything about Maryland football, so I wouldn't even know. Carl the Cat and the Hizzy. Are we winding down here? Let's see. That's very nice, Matthew. Thank you. So for all the guys that have listened to you since before Drew was born, seeing him is very welcome sight and sound. Thank you very much, Matthew. I appreciate that. We're definitely blessed. How hot is Coach's hot seat? I'll hold true to this, man. It depends on Oliva. If Oliva's there, Ogeron's safe. It all depends on if the heat gets cranked up on Joe Oliva, and if and when Joe Oliva resigns, leaves, fired, whatever. Until Joe Oliva's gone, Ed's going to be safe. So it's not worth having the Coach Joe conversation about hot seat or anything until Joe's gone, because Joe is not going to fire Ed Ogeron. He's not. So, Jeremy, what do you think LSU will win versus Miami? Maybe that's why. I think, well, the why is Miami defensively was very good last year because they were great at forcing turnovers, if you remember the turnover chain thing. I think that's hard to replicate. They also lost their 3 best players on their defense from last year. So I think it's natural that they'll take a step back. Their quarterback, Malik Rozier, was so inconsistent last year, and I think, especially at the end of the year, he was really bad, such the point where Mark Richt hasn't even decided definitively that Rozier is going to be the starter this year. So I think Miami has inconsistencies on both sides of the ball, whereas I think of the 4 units, Miami's offense, defense, LSU's offense, defense, I think the best one on the field is probably going to be LSU's defense, which keeps it a low-scoring game. And I think LSU just finds a way to score. And the other part of it is I think it's going to be a de facto home game for LSU. I think they're going to have 70% of the crowd, and I think that's going to help. So that's why I think LSU beats Miami like a 17-16, like 20-17 type game, something like that. Jason, did O say anything about the tight ends in his presser? Do you think Moss gets on the field? Moss is going to play for sure. What role, I don't know, because Foster's your starter, and I just don't know that they're going to use many 2 tight end sets. Maybe I'll be wrong. I mean, maybe you can use Foster as a blocker and Moss, or they use Stephon Sullivan or working him there, as a pass catcher. We'll see. Ask Matt. There was a post on Instagram talking about the best safeties LSU ever had. RC commented saying his numbers are probably better than any safety. You put him in the top 3 or no? Tough part about that is like I could go Jamal Adams, Eric Reed, LaRon Landry, all were first-round draft picks. And RC's number is going to be better because he played all 4 years. But Ryan was a really good player who played on some bad teams. You know, his senior year I think was Nick's first year. No, RC played in 01. He played on that SEC championship team as a fifth-year guy. So he played on the bad DiNardo teams and then Nick's first 2 teams. But he was a great leader, man. You know, he was a great leader on those teams, and you know, it's evidence of a guy when a guy isn't, you know, physically, you know, in the conversation to get a combine invite or be drafted, and he plays 13, 14 years in the NFL at that position. It goes to show you, man. But it's just like you look at guys like, I guess it's, how do you determine, you know? But Jamal, LaRon, Eric Reed, all first-round draft picks. You talk about a guy like Brandon Taylor, who was a glue guy. I would compare Ryan at LSU to a guy like Brandon Taylor. You know, anyway, I loved RC, man. You know, Ryan Clark and Fred Booker back in that defensive backfield in 01. I love that whole 01 team, man. 01 was such a special year when LSU finally got over the hump, got to the SEC championship game and won it. I mean, it felt like LSU, like at that point, it felt like LSU was never, ever, ever going to go to Atlanta and win. It just felt like that was this unreachable goal. And so that, I love that 01 team, man. Hang on now. Yeah. One of the reasons I love Rohan and Josh Reed is Michael Clayton so much. Alright, about to wrap up, y'all. I'm gonna go take that kid. Go take that kid for a car ride. See if we can get to any more of these. What's for breakfast? Probably a smoothie or a protein bar. Just coming on the feed, did you talk about those comments about the offense struggle? We did a little bit earlier. Brains are recharging. What? Get this baby, don't fall on it. Hey, baby. The only way LSU beats Miami is with the running game. Whoop. Hey. Okay, we're about to wrap up. Remember, Manny Diaz is Miami's defensive coordinator, and LSU's got a lot of experience against him and his defenses from his time in the SEC at Florida, at Mississippi State. So I think, and Richt is a good coach, but he also has brain farts. Remember last year against Pitt when he put the freshman, like in the second half, he pulled Rozier, put the freshman in, like in that situation where they were trying to protect an undefeated season. I like Mark Richt, but I think Mark Richt also has his flaws. I'd give Richt the edge over Ogeron, but we'll see. See soon enough. All right, let's see. All right, y'all, I think we're done. Mad enough about this depressing LSU talk. Let's talk about the good thing. How many years we got for you? We got you for. Alvino, I'm here, dog. I ain't going. That's funny, man. I ain't going anywhere. And I hope, in the next week or so, we can even announce more good news about AFR. So, yeah, but Alvin, I'm here, man. My family's here. Erica's family's here. Drew's doctors and therapists are here. We continue to grow AFR. So, Baton Rouge, we're syndicated in New Orleans, got the CST deal. I work for and with great people. I love the teams I talk about. And I've gotten to this point where it's like if I were going to take what I have here, car. Uh-oh is right. Uh-oh is right, little boy. It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Drew, it's okay. It's okay, sweetheart. If I were, I'm watching now. The feed's a little delayed, so I just saw the camera fall. Anyway, if I were going to go anywhere, it would be like it would have to be like a major national type job with an enormous salary. And the truth is, you typically don't go from Baton Rouge to those types of jobs. So, you know, I'm good, man. I'm really, really good. I'm blessed to do what I do. I work, like I said, with and for great people. You know, so thanks for the question, Alvino. But I'm good, man. I'm good where I am. And like I said, hopefully we have really, really good news coming up soon about the AFR and further growth. All right, let's wrap this up, y'all. Have a great Sunday. Do me a solid, y'all. Check out Boudreaux's. If that's your sort of thing. The Bloody Mary mix be perfect for a Sunday brunch. The margarita mix if you're hanging out by the pool or having family or friends over. You can get it at Alexander's, Calandro's, both locations, Mid-City and Perkins. Okay, bud. Canada's down in Homa. Calvin's in Bocage. Mid-City Wine and Craft over there. If you're by that Jefferson, Lobdell, that shopping center back there. Y'all check it out, man. It's a huge help. Or go to boudreauxmix.com. You can order it there. They'll ship it to you. boudreauxmix.com. Go on the social media sites. That's just a real, like, that's a solid, for me. I love doing the show, but y'all can help me out by helping them out. So, all right, y'all have a great Sunday, and we'll talk to you tomorrow on Morning Scone and on AFR. Y'all have an awesome day.